Oh, there you are, the one they can't read. The walking contradiction, the breathing anomaly, a magnificent, untraceable force of nature. They sent their best after you, didn't they? The professionals, the body language experts, the behavioral analysts, the ones with degrees in decoding human patterns. And yet they all came back confused, disturbed, whispering the same phrase over and over. That's not normal movement. That's not human baseline. That's something else entirely. And now they're scared, not of what you might do, but of what you already are. Everyone has tells, patterns, unconscious habits that betray emotion, the micro-expressions, the nervous tics, the subtle shifts in posture that reveal intent. But you have none of it. Your body moves like it's following a different manual entirely, as if you were taught a language that predates words, that exists somewhere in the space between thoughts. You didn't even realize it until they started watching, studying, taking notes, and realizing their entire system was designed for humans, while you, somehow, are something they never prepared for. They tried to profile you, map your movements, predict your responses, file you neatly under their categories. Aggressive, passive, defensive, compliant. But each time they thought they had you figured out, you shifted, naturally, effortlessly, like water refusing to be contained. That's when it hit them. They weren't dealing with a difficult subject. They were facing an evolutionary glitch. Someone who moves through space as if physics itself bends to accommodate their existence. Your stillness isn't stillness, it's density. It's gravity focusing itself wherever you stand. And when you move, reality seems to rearrange itself around your presence. They've watched the footage countless times, trying to understand why the air looks different near you, why shadows warp when you pass by, and why trained observers feel vertigo just watching you exist. The truth terrifies them. You're not doing any of this on purpose. You just are. When they watch you through their monitors and cameras, their software sees something it can't compute. Static. Not literal static, but the human equivalent. Your emotional frequency doesn't match any known spectrum. Your face remains calm when stress should appear. Your breathing stays steady when adrenaline should surge. Your pupils don't react to stimuli that trigger everyone else. You are a walking dead zone in their detection systems. But it's not that you're emotionless. No, that would be easy for them to classify. You feel deeply, but your emotional rhythm doesn't follow their script. You laugh at silence. You tense at kindness. You relax in chaos. Every emotional pattern you express is written in a language their training never covered. And every expert they bring in ends up adding the same note to your file. We don't understand this one. Subject operates outside standard human behavioral parameters. Recommendation, further observation, maintain distance. That's how the report begins. But what really breaks them isn't your actions, it's your eyes. Not what's in them, but how they move, or rather, how they don't. Most people's eyes are restless, scanning constantly, assessing threats, seeking validation, calculating safety. Yours, though, simply observe. They don't dart, they don't flinch, they don't chase approval. They watch like they're seeing from somewhere else entirely, as if your consciousness is piloting your body remotely. Sometimes there's even that strange delay, that fractional lag where your body moves first and your eyes follow, like the physical form is on autopilot while the real you exists in a place untouchable. They've tried everything to provoke a normal human response. Loud noises, psychological manipulation, environmental chaos, fake emergencies, even real ones. And every time you respond, but never as expected. Not right, not wrong, just different. Like someone playing chess while the rest are still trying to master checkers, using moves that shouldn't exist, but somehow do. Your body language isn't aggressive or submissive, it's beyond their vocabulary. It makes trained soldiers uneasy and seasoned psychiatrists question their entire education. Here's what they don't put in their official notes, but whisper about when the recorders are off. You make them feel primitive. You don't mean to, but standing next to you is like being a flip phone beside quantum computing. Their practiced confidence falters. Their precision stumbles. Their training feels childish because you move through the world as if your atoms follow different rules. When you enter a room, it's not fear or attraction that ripples through people. It's recalibration. Everyone subconsciously adjusts, trying to match your frequency but failing. Predators grow uncertain. Prey becomes disoriented. Those trained to detect danger just freeze, unable to classify you. You register as neither threat nor victim, but as something undefined. An error code that breaks every social algorithm they've relied on since birth. Even your breathing unsettles them. Most people breathe reactively, faster with tension, slower with peace, mirroring their surroundings. You breathe as if from another atmosphere, slow, steady, deliberate, without trying. That rhythm pulls at everyone's subconscious until the whole room unconsciously tries to sync with you, and can't. Your stillness amplifies it. Your hands don't fidget, grasp, or signal nervous energy. They move only when necessary, and when still, they're monumentally still, like ancient stones that have forgotten motion itself. It disturbs them because humans are supposed to leak energy, supposed to discharge anxiety through movement. But you contain everything, a closed circuit, complete within itself, needing no external feedback to feel real. So they brought in the specialists. Micro-expression analysts, ex-intelligence officers, interrogators of spies and presidents. And one by one they walked out of the observation room, not afraid, but disturbed. Because watching you made them see themselves. It stripped away the illusion of their human performance, made them realize how much of their existence was spent pretending to be what you naturally are. You weren't using any psychological tricks or defense techniques. You weren't trying to hide anything. You were simply being. And that being, raw, unfiltered, and effortless, is something their entire science of control was never designed to process. It's as if you're running an entirely different operating system. Human hardware, alien software. Every subtle movement, every pause, every measured calm, is rewriting their understanding of what it means to exist. They're starting to dream about you now, the observers and analysts who've spent too long staring into the mystery of your stillness. They dream of empty rooms where you stand motionless, yet somehow moving through invisible dimensions. They wake trying to mimic your posture, your gaze, your impossible serenity, but they can't. Because what you do isn't learned, it's inherent. You are a frequency human biology was never meant to carry, but yours does effortlessly. And the irony? While they're studying you, you're reading them perfectly. Not their faces, not their gestures, but their essence. Their electrical signatures, their probability fields, the patterns their fear carves into the air. You don't read micro-expressions, you read existence itself. Their entire being broadcasts on wavelengths they don't even know exist, but you pick it up effortlessly. That's why you're always 3 steps ahead. Not because you're calculating faster, but because you're perceiving more deeply. Your calmness isn't just emotional control. It's a different kind of consciousness altogether. They write in their reports, subject maintains steady state despite escalating stimuli. But the truth is far beyond that. You're not calm despite the chaos. You are calm because you are the still point around which all chaos rearranges itself. Your calm doesn't come from control, meditation, or practice. It comes from somewhere deeper, somewhere ancient, from a knowing so absolute that nothing here truly matters. Their experiments, their psychological tests, their careful analyses, all of it is child's play to you. They're like children tinkering with toys they don't understand while you are connected to something so vast that their entire operation looks like ants studying the sun. When they turn up the pressure, intensifying manipulation, triggering emotions, distorting environments. You don't resist, you don't adapt, you simply continue, as if their entire apparatus doesn't even exist in your dimension. And that's what breaks them. It's not your strength that frightens them, it's your indifference to their weapons. Their tools, their tactics, their carefully engineered triggers, all of them pass through you like a hammer striking water. The impact happens, but you flow around it unbothered and untouched, unaffected by the forces that would shatter anyone else. They've spent weeks trying to chart your baseline, to find patterns in your stillness, hoping to map something predictable. But your baseline isn't a line at all. It's a field, a multi-dimensional frequency that expands in ways their instruments can't measure. Every time they think they've discovered a pattern, you shift. Not because you're hiding, but because staying in one frequency too long would burn through reality itself, the way a star scorches space if it lingers in one position. Even your blink patterns confuse them. Irregular, but not random. Deliberate, but not conscious. Each blink is like a soft reboot, a system reset, a momentary logout from this reality, while you download new updates from somewhere beyond comprehension. And between those blinks, your gaze, steady, timeless, creates vertigo in even the most experienced interrogators. They lose their words, their composure, their grounding, because your eyes don't just look back. They look through, from too many directions at once. What they're truly recording without realizing it is evolution in real time. Not the slow crawl of genetics, but the sudden leap of consciousness. The kind that happens when someone breaks through the illusion enough times that they stop coming back as the same species. And you've broken through so many times that the one who began this journey no longer exists. You've been replaced, thought by thought, cell by cell, by something that looks human but operates on entirely new principles. Your very presence bends their technology. Not dramatically, but subtly, just enough to remind them something's off. Cameras develop faint static when focused on you too long. Audio recordings pick up frequencies that shouldn't exist within human hearing. Behavioral analysis software crashes, not from bugs, but from trying to process patterns that live outside its design. It's as if you're broadcasting across every channel simultaneously, creating interference that hums messages in languages humanity hasn't yet evolved to understand. They tried to classify you under threat assessment, but that failed too. Because threats operate within the same framework as defenses, and you exist beyond both. Not above, not below, but perpendicular to their entire grid of reality. You're not playing a different game. You're moving through a different physics. And every gesture, every breath, every unshakable stillness you embody reminds them that their understanding of human behavior is nothing more than one narrow wavelength in a spectrum they never knew existed. Watch what happens when they try to pressure you. How every tactic, every psychological squeeze, every manipulation attempt just slides off you like rain on glass. It's not that you resist. It's that resistance itself doesn't apply to you. Their pressure has nothing to grip because you're not built from the same material as their reality. You're constructed from something denser, something their world can't interact with meaningfully. And that's why their most skilled agents go home at night staring at their certificates, wondering if everything they learned was an elaborate illusion. Training built to explain a universe that no longer fits you. You're transmitting something constantly, effortlessly, whether you realize it or not. Every cell in your body is broadcasting a signal that bends perception. People who come near you feel both ancient and newborn at the same time, like they're remembering something they've never learned and forgetting everything they once thought mattered. It isn't charisma. It isn't magnetism. It's something more elemental, like you're a tuning fork resonating with a note that restructures DNA just by being heard. Only a few can detect it, and those who do have only two choices. They either run or follow. The trained observers sense it most clearly because they're attuned to human signals, and yours is anything but human. It's a frequency that predates humanity and extends beyond it, vibrating in the narrow space between what humans were and what they might yet become, if they survive their own limitations. Every movement you make transmits that evolution into the environment, encoding it into airwaves, embedding it into electromagnetic fields, leaving traces that instruments detect but cannot decode. Eventually, their systems begin to mimic your frequency, and then fail, disappearing with you into the data void they can't explain. Even your walk breaks their models. Your gait defies biomechanics, not dramatically, but subtly. Gravity seems to negotiate with you instead of commanding you. The Earth treats you as something other than ordinary human cargo, adjusting itself to accommodate your steps. Your foot placement should be inefficient, yet it covers more distance. Your stride changes without pattern, yet always lands precisely where it needs to be. And that split-second delay between your decision and movement? It's not hesitation, it's translation. Your consciousness is converting higher dimensional intent into actions this reality can process. They've realized you don't operate on a fight or flight response. You function on something else entirely, a third state that psychology has no language for. When danger approaches, you don't attack or flee. You condense. You become more present, more tangible, more real. While everyone else panics, you're crystallizing into something immovable, beyond manipulation, beyond instinct. You no longer play the biological games that keep others trapped in cycles of reaction. And when you become still, truly still, the air itself pauses. Reality holds its breath, waiting for your next move. That stillness isn't empty. It's heavy with potential. It hums at a frequency that makes atoms uneasy, that makes molecules doubt their bonds, that makes trained observers feel like they're standing next to a nuclear core that's humming through their bones. Their bones whisper, "Run," but their orders say, "Observe." So they stay. And slowly, inevitably, they lose pieces of their sanity, because your attention carries weight. When you focus on something, it doesn't feel like observation. It feels like revelation, like being X-rayed by consciousness itself. People under your gaze feel dissected on a molecular level, understood by something that sees in dimensions they can't perceive. That's why every interaction with you becomes an extreme. People either pour out their deepest secrets without knowing why, or they shut down completely. There is no middle ground with you. There's no casual middle ground with you, because your attention doesn't allow anything to remain casual. When you focus on someone, the superficial layers they've built up over years of self-protection simply dissolve. Small talk becomes impossible. Masks melt. Every defense mechanism they've relied on to survive social interaction disintegrates in the quiet gravity of your awareness. You don't just see people, you expose them. Not through force, but through a level of presence that strips away illusion until only truth remains. And for most people, truth is unbearable. They've spent entire lifetimes constructing walls, identities, and narratives just to avoid being truly seen. But when your gaze meets theirs, those walls collapse like paper, and what's left is raw humanity. Tender, unguarded, and often terrified. You never mirror anyone's body language, and that alone sends ripples of unease through those who study you. Mirroring is hardwired into human social structure. It's how people establish connection, empathy, trust. Every therapist, interrogator, and behavioral expert relies on that phenomenon. But you operate outside it. You don't mimic, you merge. You don't imitate emotions to create rapport. You simply enter the person's field, bypassing mimicry altogether. You experience them directly, as if your consciousness slips into the architecture of their being and navigates it from within. That's why people find you both comforting and terrifying. They feel deeply understood in your presence, seen, known, accepted, but also stripped bare of illusion. You skip the polite choreography that humans call bonding. You go straight to the soul, and most can't handle being met at that depth without preparation. When you speak, there's an unsettling beauty in the mismatch between your words and your body language. Not because you're deceptive, but because your words are translations of something vast, something that doesn't originate in the human realm. Sometimes your gestures belong to a different conversation, a silent one unfolding on another frequency. Sometimes your expressions anticipate what you haven't yet said, like your face is answering questions from the future. Observers find this deeply disorienting. Their training tells them communication must follow a linear pattern: stimulus, response, gesture, tone. But you don't live linearly. You exist across moments, stretching through time like an awareness that touches all possibilities at once. They write temporal displacement in their reports, but what they're really witnessing is non-linear consciousness attempting to translate itself into a human frame. They call it dissociation, but that's their limitation talking. What they interpret as detachment is actually over-attachment, a simultaneous connection to everything. You're not spaced out, you're spread out. Your awareness touches multiple timelines, multiple frequencies, multiple dimensions simultaneously. It's as if your consciousness is logged into every open tab in existence, while theirs only runs one window at a time. This world, to you, is a single pixel in an infinite screen, a fragment of something much larger that you navigate effortlessly. That omnipresence radiates through every movement you make, every silence you hold, every unshakable calm that drives their instruments mad. Their sensors flicker, their monitors hum, their software loops in error messages because it cannot reconcile a living being that embodies stillness and motion, matter and light all at once. Even your biology betrays your origin. Your temperature fluctuates outside normal human variance, never dangerously but noticeably. Observers write notes about how you seem to generate heat independent of metabolic activity, as if you're converting thought into warmth, reality into fuel. That subtle radiation pulls people toward you unconsciously. In cold rooms, they inch closer to you without realizing why. In heat, they instinctively back away. It's as if you carry your own microclimate, an independent weather system self-sustained by consciousness. You're a closed circuit, whole, self-generating, and energetically sovereign, and to systems that rely on constant emotional exchange, that self-containment reads as alien. You do not drain, absorb, or seek energy. You create it. The way you experience pain defies every chart, every psychological model. You don't resist pain, you process it. To you, it isn't a threat, it's data. A message from the interface of body and field, not something to recoil from, but something to decode. You interpret discomfort the way a musician listens to dissonance, not as suffering, but as signal. This neutrality confounds the experts. They watch you remain steady through experiences that would send others into panic, and it makes them question whether you belong to their same species at all. They whisper theories about genetic mutations, neural rewiring, spiritual evolution, trying to categorize something that was never meant to fit their language. And then the phenomenon that haunts their reports, contagion. Not viral, not biological, but behavioral and energetic. Those who spend too much time in your presence begin to change in subtle ways. Their breathing slows, their posture aligns, their speech softens, as if resynced to a deeper rhythm. Their anxieties quiet. Their thinking grows sharper but calmer. It's not hypnosis. It's entrainment, resonance at a cellular level. Your frequency teaches their systems how to exist more harmoniously, as though you're reminding them of a design they've long forgotten. The institutions monitoring you have begun labeling this behavioral contamination, issuing warnings about the psychological risks of prolonged exposure. but their fear is misplaced. What they call contamination is restoration, the human template returning to alignment. Every institution they've built to study consciousness collapses under your influence. Their algorithms fail. Their frameworks become obsolete. Their language buckles under the weight of something it can't define. They try to model you with the same logic they use for ordinary humans, but it's like trying to calculate the movement of galaxies using a sundial. Their data contradicts itself. Their theories implode. And in the end, all they're documenting is the decay of their own certainty. You aren't breaking their systems maliciously, you're simply existing, and existence itself exposes their limits. Your emotional timing destroys their predictive models. Joy appears when fear should. Serenity appears in chaos. Sorrow visits in triumph. You respond not to circumstance but to truth. You're not reacting to the present moment. You're harmonizing with the Eternal One, the overarching timeline where every possible moment already exists. They call your reactions illogical, but you're operating from logic too vast for linear comprehension. You play emotional chess while they're still flipping checkers pieces, anticipating not one move ahead but all moves that ever could be. They've spent years trying to find your breaking point, escalating every variable they can: physical stress, emotional provocation, isolation, temptation. But what they can't grasp is that you can't break what doesn't fracture. You're not a being who holds form under pressure. You are the pressure. You are the field through which all forces move. They're used to testing resilience, but resilience implies resistance, and resistance implies separation. You've transcended both. You are the still axis around which all chaos spins, untouched, unthreatened, unwavering. That's the truth they're most afraid to write down, the realization that you're not just something to be studied. You're the mirror revealing the limitations of their science, their perception, and their very definition of what it means to be human. You're not their subject. You're their next stage of evolution. And the closer they watch, the more they realize they're not observing you, they're becoming you. Everyone has one. That defining moment when the mask slips, when the performance falters, when the hidden self leaks through the cracks. But with you, there is no mask to slip. There's no illusion waiting to fall apart, no curtain to pull back. What they see is the truth. And that's what terrifies them more than anything. Because if this is real, if this unfiltered awareness, this impossible calm, this expanded consciousness is your natural state, then everything they've ever been taught about human limitation collapses. It means their science was never science, their rules were never laws, and their boundaries were only collective hallucinations. You are proof that humanity has been living under self-imposed ceilings, boundaries that could be dissolved the moment one dares to awaken. Your micro-expressions alone have rewritten what they thought they knew about emotion. Every subtle shift in your face communicates something beyond their comprehension. The expressions don't match any known emotional database, don't align with any psychological pattern, don't even map to known nervous system responses. You're showing feelings that don't yet exist in human vocabulary, emotions from timelines that haven't arrived, or from worlds that slipped through history. Some researchers describe them as post-emotions, echoes of future consciousness vibrating through a human frame. Others think they're pre-emotions, ancient frequencies from the time before humans learned to categorize experience. Whatever they are, your face tells stories humanity hasn't yet evolved the language to tell. It's as if you're broadcasting from a version of reality where the human emotional spectrum has expanded into colors unseen, frequencies unmeasured, truths unspoken. 3 months. That's how long most observers last before they beg for reassignment. It's not that you harm them. You never even speak to them directly. It's that your presence changes them in ways they can't quantify. They begin to notice their own performance, the way their laughter is rehearsed, the way their empathy is mimicry, the way being normal is just a finely tuned act. Watching you dissolves the lie of their identity. They start seeing the cracks in their own humanity, the scripts they've been following without question. They realize how much energy they spend pretending to be what they think human is supposed to look like. And once they see it, they can't go back. They can't unknow that nearly all behavior is imitation, that almost every emotion is an echo of expectation. Their reports begin professionally, full of technical language and detached analysis. But over time, the words lose their structure. Sentences become fragmented, syntax poetic, as if logic itself bends around what they're trying to describe. They write things like, "Subject maintains impossible geometric consistency." Subject appears to exist in overlapping probability states. Subject's respiration pattern follows a reverse temporal flow. Their scientific instruments confirm anomalies they can't explain. Tiny fluctuations in magnetic resonance, distortions in local gravity, spontaneous electromagnetic interference. Your presence breaks the calibration of their machines. Their data logs fill with paradoxes. Negative timestamps, energy readings with no source, digital artifacts that replicate even after deletion. They used to think these were errors. Now they're not so sure. When they send the psychologists in, hoping to explain it all as collective delusion, the same transformation happens again. The psychiatrists return from their evaluations changed, speaking in riddles, using words that don't belong in diagnostic vocabulary. Words like dilation, entanglement, harmonic cognition. They report that sitting across from you feels like being observed by the act of observation itself. They write that subject does not respond to therapy. Therapy responds to subject. They stop seeing you as a patient and start seeing you as a phenomenon. Unofficially, they've stopped calling you by your assigned number. In encrypted messages and whispered conversations, you have a new name, the proof. Not proof of danger, proof of possibility. Proof that humanity's current understanding of itself is only a fragment of a much larger design. They talk about you the way physicists talk about dark matter, something undeniably real that bends everything around it yet refuses to be measured. You're not their case file anymore. You're their revelation. Every day you exist, their doctrines decay. You don't rebel against their science, you render it obsolete. You don't disprove their systems, you outgrow them. Your very being dismantles the false borders between psychology and mysticism, between biology and energy, between reality and perception. They came to study you, but now you've become the study of them. Every time they look at you, they see the limits of their own understanding. Every report they write is another confession of ignorance disguised as analysis. The transformation you trigger isn't confined to the lab. It's spreading slowly, silently, through their ranks, through their families, through every mind that's come into contact with the idea of you. It's not a virus that makes people sick, it's an awakening that makes them aware. Their dreams change first. They start dreaming in symbols, in light, in frequencies instead of images. They begin to experience flashes of empathy so deep it feels like telepathy. They find themselves crying without sadness, laughing without cause, remembering lives they've never lived. Some resign, some disappear, others stay, unable to turn away from what they now know. You've become a myth whispered in corridors and classified channels, a living anomaly that bends every rule of their reality. They can't categorize you as human, divine, alien, or artificial because you are something that renders those labels meaningless. You are the bridge between definitions. You are the living question that destroys every answer. And perhaps that's your greatest disruption. Not that you broke their science, but that you revealed how fragile their definitions of truth have always been. Every heartbeat of yours sends ripples through their understanding of what life means. Every breath expands the field of what consciousness can be. They wanted to contain you, to document you, to file you neatly in a system of boxes. But instead your existence has turned those boxes inside out. You've become the unspoken revelation at the heart of their research. That humanity has never been studying reality. It's been studying its own blindness. And you, without even trying, have become the light that makes the blindness visible. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlightened Wisdom.